All right, let's go. All right, let's go, Tim.
All right, Dad, Del, I guess everybody's going to want to know, Dad, what'd you think? Canada, 3-2
Well, I
winners?
wrote a few things down.
Okay.
Canada wins in overtime.
Yep.
John Cooper yelled at the bench, somebody be selfish and shoot the puck just before Marner and David went on.
Yeah. Sometimes when you have those tournaments like that, the guys don't want to look like puck hogs, right?
Well, I don't know. They should look like puck hogs.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed about Marner? He doesn't bring it back and fool with it. Bing.
No.
It's right off the bat.
Right. I think the big play for that goal that people don't mention was Marner was on his off wing in the corner.
Yeah.
And the puck was coming around hard. He played that puck off his skate onto his stick right to McDavid, just like that. If he fooled around for a second, somebody would have been on him.
Yeah.
A quick thing about shoot the puck. I remember when you were coaching over in the World Tournament in 81 or 82. That's what Guy Lafleur kept saying. Shoot the puck, Tabernac. That's what he kept saying to Lanny. Shoot the puck, Tabernac.
Shoot the puck. Yeah. Bennington was unreal in overtime.
So you've told that story, Dad. Game 7 in Boston, St. Louis. Binghamton just got shelled for 6 goals.
6 goals the night before, and he says, "Oh, we'll win the game tonight."
Where'd you meet him?
I met him in the elevator. Anyhow, he played well in Boston. Maybe Bruins should trade for him.
Yeah, Sweeney. Straight up. You take Swayman, we'll take Bennington.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny how, though, sometimes goalies do play well in certain rinks.
Cheever's always played good in Philadelphia.
Philly and Pittsburgh, you always seem, and I don't know, Pennsylvania, I don't know if you like the racetracks there or something, but remember the time Gilly was supposed to play?
Oh, yeah.
In Philly in the playoffs? Or in Pittsburgh, I guess, in the playoffs?
It was in Pittsburgh, and Dan Canny, the trainer, came to me and said, "Gilly can't go." He said, "What do you mean he can't go?" He says, "He's got the hives." He's got the hives? What the?
So Cheevers went in and...
Yeah, and Cheevers played, and he played unbelievable. He should have had a Coke and a hot dog before.
Yeah, that's what he had, a coconut hot dog, then you're playing. So let me ask you a quick question, Dad. If Binnington didn't play as well as he did, and they lost, let's say he let in 4 or 5 bad goals, John Cooper would really have been criticized.
Yep. You better believe it.
Yeah.
Simple answer. Yep.
So kind of gutsy him going with Binnington.
Well, you have to go with somebody. Matthews criticized for playing hurt. He only played in 6 minutes of the game. Some say he should not have played. And Kyle Connors, who leads the All-Americans in goals in the NHL, should have been in the lineup.
What do you think?
I think he should have played.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. Just to have him in the lineup. It reminds me of the time John Denhammer, who was a PR guy, or he was a general manager, I guess.
It's almost, when you were in Rochester, you were coaching GM, he was kind of like your assistant general manager.
Yeah, he was his assistant general manager, something like that. John Winston was hurt. He let him go to Quebec, and I phoned. I said, "Send John Winston down here." And I said he'd like a nice vacation in Florida. We were in Jacksonville, and I said, "Get dressed. Just get dressed."
He couldn't play. He had a bad knee, right?
Yeah, a bad knee. He couldn't play, and he hollered from the bench, "I'll get you, I'll get you," and he never did. He couldn't do anything. Just to have Tkachuk in the lineup was good.
Yeah.
It was just to have him in the lineup was good.
So Dad, Del, let's face it. What made the tournament were the 3 fights,
Well, the 3 fights.
Yeah.
right? And everybody's saying now fights are the greatest things and the intensity and all that. And for the last half, if not 3/4 of your career, you were criticized for saying fighting was good. And I remember that there were people in the television industry, get this, Del, that said that the Americans will never accept hockey as long as there's fighting.
What?
That for a long time, that was the NHL television's brain trust. That they said, this was in the 70s and 80s, the Americans will never accept hockey as a real sport with their fighting.
It was pretty rough too. Pretty rough sport too.
Yeah, back then it was pretty bad.
They definitely surveyed the wrong Americans on that one.
Yeah. Remember, Brian Williams would have said it was a black eye for hockey.
Oh, Brian Williams.
So
Boy, it was beautiful cup.
Yeah.
Gee, beautiful cup.
Yeah. And then the thing I like kind of about the whole thing was McDavid played yesterday against Philly.
Yeah.
It was -3. Maybe he should have. But at least he played. Pretty much everybody played that came back.
I thought they did take a couple of days off, but
Teammates are in Cabo, but
Yeah, that's right. They did that. They go, where did you go on your break? I was in Hawaii. I was in Cabo. So
and next game, he's right back in there again.
Right. So just before we go on to talk about fighting, the Women's League had their first fight.
Yeah. The women had their gloves on, though.
Yeah, because you can't. They have their cage, right?
And the gloves are tougher than fists.
Yeah, you said you got hit with a glove one time.
Oh, I got hit with the glove, and I thought I was in seventh heaven.
And it was Ottawa and I think Ottawa and Boston. And Ottawa's Teresa Visanova got a Gordie Howe hat trick.
Yeah,
She got a goal, a fight, and an assist.
Yes.
So she's the first professional woman to get a Gordie Howe hat trick.
Oh.
But the funny thing is, though, Dad, the ref only gave them roughing penalties, and it wasn't rough. Like they were
throwing them.
They were throwing bombs. So remember the time we were in? It was the Toronto Marlies tournament. So the Toronto Marlies tournament, people don't know. It's maybe the biggest tournament in Ontario for kids who are playing, or 15. Every OHL scout's there. Every OHL general manager goes there. There's NCAA scouts go there. Like, this is a big tournament. Like,
this is packed.
Yep.
And so these two guys started the fight, and I was standing in a corner.
Yeah. No, you know where we were standing? I remember we were right behind the net because we couldn't get to our corner spot.
We were standing right by the glass, and there was a scrum going on, and they both were throwing them pretty good.
Right. So this kid I think his name was Picklick. He was one of the top scorers, and this is the semifinals. So the finals are tomorrow, and this kid punches. I forget who the other kid was. Punches him.
Yeah.
And they both stopped, and they both looked at you, and then they looked at each other, and they looked at you again. And they dropped their gloves and they started to fight.
Got to do it.
And the coach of the one kid, I forget who he played for, went to him and said, "What are you, nuts? You know, you're one of our leading scorers. We got the game tomorrow. You're going to get thrown out." And you get a misconduct back then if you fought.
Yeah.
You're going to miss the finals. And the kid said, "Well, Don Cherry was standing right in front of me. What do you want me to do?"
Yep.
But the referee gave them 6 minutes for roughing. Yeah, so he was good. Didn't give him a rough penalty. But that was funny. I don't think the parents were too happy.
No, I don't think the parents were too happy about it.
Yeah.
They thought they were going to be five. Thought it was going to be 5.
Didn't you one time go to like it was a midget tournament, and as soon as you walked into the rink, they started to fight?
Oh, I went up in the control booth there, looking at the thing, and they started to fight before the game.
Jeez. Warm-up brawl.
And everybody looking at me.
Yeah, the parents weren't too happy. So I have to say it was a bigger success than most people thought.
Yeah, I have to say that game at the end there, that was a super game.
Yeah, but it goes to show you, best goalie wins, right?
Yeah, best goalie wins. Show me a good coach, I'll show you a good goalie.
So what do you think of everybody going after Gretzky?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Like,
he give us thumbs ups. He did give us thumbs up to the.
Well, but the American players are probably banging their boards too. Like
Yeah,
they were
banging,
saying, "Hey, And he talked to the team before. Like, he talked to the Canadian team before in the dressing room. He read the lineup.
Oh,
So,
you did?
yeah, so it was
I
like...
didn't know that.
Yeah, so, like, he had talked to the players. It wasn't like he snubbed them. He had talked to the players and gave them a little pep talk before the game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then Eruzione came out wearing the sweat. Like, they think he should have wore the sweater and all that.
Yeah,
But
well,
he looked good.
Rizzoni, he wore it because
That's what he's known for, right? Winning the thing.
he was.
But they're mad because people are mad at him because he likes Trump.
Yeah.
No.
That's what it is, right?
Politics finds its way.
It's not Trump. It's not Gretzky. They're mad at Trump.
Right. So they take it out on Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did give the thumbs up, but he would give the thumbs up to the player, to the Canadian players too.
Yeah, that's it. Because he had to walk out. Like, you couldn't walk out the Canadian one. You have to walk out
Yeah.
by the home bench.
Yeah.
And he had to walk in front of the home bench, and they didn't have the carpet for him to walk over to the thing. Whereas, like, in Montreal, when George St. Pierre came out, he was right by the door where the Team Canada came out.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? It's like they're after Gretzky like they were after Bobby because they support Trump.
Yeah.
It's not got nothing to do with.
Okay, Del, ask the first question.
So we got from Red, White, Blue Hockey. Hey, Coach, do you think it's time for Canada to have a development program like they do in the USA?
Well, they can't do that. It's pretty tough to do.
I mean, the reality is USA Hockey does develop those players because they go to Ann Arbor, they play together, and then they play on different exhibition games and they play different things, and they pour money in it. Hockey Canada doesn't develop our players.
No.
It's the CHL owners that develop the players.
Yep.
They're the ones that spend all the money. They're the ones that do the games. They're the ones that do. It's the CHL that does it. Hockey Canada, all they do is facilitate the tournaments.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't do much other than that. But you can't have like one program with all the best kids. But the one thing, Dad, before we get to the next question, you like the refereeing in that tournament.
Well, that's the way the referees should be.
In the 4 games Canada played, there was 6 total penalties, not including the 3 fights.
That means there's good hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let them go. Let
Just
them play.
let them go.
Let them play.
And then last night, there was a total of, in the total tournament, there was 23 penalties called in the whole tournament.
That's pretty good.
And there was that many in the Leafs, Ottawa, and Jets game last night. There was the same. Those
I
3
don't
games.
understand it.
That's
I
crazy.
don't understand it. You think that watching the game that I just don't understand it.
Yeah, like last night there was a penalty on a Leaf. I forget which one, and they went in the corner and the guy just fell. The Hurricane guy just fell, and maybe kind of looked like a penalty. Maybe something might have happened.
Yeah.
and you go.
So we're back.
Yeah, that's right. Nope.
We're back to
I liked how it was back before the tournament started. The narrative for Canada was the power play is unstoppable. You can't. There's no penalties, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it was. That was the whole thing. But just one thing I think that like they're talking about Europe next year. They're going to play in Europe. Like the Americans can't play like they played next year in the Olympics, like they played this year.
No.
Because they're going to have international referees and they're going to get 1 million penalties.
Well, the referee's been pretty good.
But I think in the Olympics, and I think Canada, like on that open ice, because it's going to be a bigger surface.
Yeah.
Like you get McDavid and you get McKinnon on that bigger ice.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a definite advantage to the Canadians.
Great to see Thomas Harley playing for Canada. We scouted him when he was 15 years old and playing for the Vaughan Kings.
Yeah. Did you think he'd ever make Team Canada?
I never thought he'd ever make Team Canada.
He was a good, steady defenseman.
He's a good, steady guy.
Right. Get the puck, move it. And
That's what you need, though, amongst all the superstars. Somebody that you can rely on. He's always there. He's not going out there for the fame. He's reliable.
yeah, see, that's the whole thing. Like, you could see why then, like, OHL general managers would like it a year older, and the NHL general managers would like to draft a year older. I mean, because he was good.
Yeah.
And like was he a top defenseman? I think he was drafted like 14th or 15th by Mississauga. But then the next year, there was just a huge jump and how good he was. But when we were watching him, you say, what are the odds that he's going to make Team Canada playing best on best? You go, I don't know about that. He's a good player, but you wouldn't expect that from him.
Mm-hmm. So from 99 Oil King, hey Grapes, what do you remember the most from when you were coaching staff on the 76 Canada Cup?
You know what I remember? I remember Phil Esposito coming up to me saying, how come I'm not playing? I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I said, there's the guy right down there. There's the guy. There's the head guy right there. I said, why don't you ask him?
Scotty Bowman.
Yeah, Scotty Bowman. Well, everybody knows. And he did. He went right up. He said, do you think I should? He says, I said, go up and ask him why you're not playing. And he did, and he told him.
I think if you look at talent for talent, I think that was the greatest Team Canada.
Yeah. Holy Dinah. We had Potvin or Serge Savard, Guy Lapointe,
Larry Robinson,
and beat that defense.
Yeah. Didn't a guy, Paul Schmier, make it?
Paul Schmier never made it. He was our best defenseman.
Yeah. It's pretty tough to cut him for 4 future Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers.
But I mean, he was our best defenseman.
Who was your Rogie Vachon was the goalie, right?
Rogie Vachon. And Cheevers was supposed to be goaltender, only he would take off the towel. And
I'm the way Cheevers, you baby Cheevers quite a bit. So the way he practiced, I'm sure didn't impress Scotty Bowman and the Montreal.
And I remember, well, what are we going to do with Cheevers? They wanted to see me, and there was Scotty Bowman. No, I don't think Scotty was there. There was. Anyhow, there was 4
The Brain Trust,
The Brain Trust was there. I knew.
But they were mad that he wasn't practicing.
I knew he wasn't practicing, and they were tipping the pucks in. When they were tipping the pucks before him, and he was standing there with his.
Yeah, he sounded like a soccer guy. No, I wouldn't think Jerry Cheevers like guys tipping pucks.
tipping pucks.
Well, remember. Who was it? Terry O'Reilly was mad that during the scrimmages that he said Cheevers was ruining the scrimmages.
Yeah, and I said if you hit his left pad, and he come up to me after.
So if you hit his left pad, it was a goal.
Yeah, it was a goal, and he hit his left pad. He come up to me after the game, after the practice, and said, "Hey, you notice I'm stopping pucks pretty good." Oh boy, was he mad! Okay.
So you also coached internationally with 81, I think it was 81 or 82 in the World Championships.
And we had
you had Lanny and you had Lanny, Guy, Larry Robinson.
How come we didn't win with those guys?
Well, playing the Russians were pretty tough.
Yeah,
we're playing the Russians. We had in the first period we must have had about 5 breakaways.
Yeah.
And Ed Guy and Foligno had a breakaway.
Yeah.
Ed Guy gave it to Foligno, and Foligno put it 10 rows up.
Yeah. Oh.
I said
field goal.
I said, how many goals you got? I don't know how many.
Yeah, Foligno, how many goals did you get last year? You had 25.
And I said, if you have 2-0, give it to the 50-goal scorer. When you
Yeah, but do you know what I remember about that too? We won't name the player. We kind of had them on the ropes. So we were the only team that year that outshot them. We outshot the Russians.
Yeah.
And you said to the guys, they're looking for a penalty. Don't go out and do anything. Don't get a penalty. Just keep, watch yourself. And we won't say the player went out first shift and got the guy and just took a stick and flipped the guy right in the air. Oof. And got a penalty. Bing, they went up 2-1 and kind of took off from there.
Yeah. Believe me, that was no fun.
Yeah. I'll tell you the one story I liked though at the end. John Ferguson was the GM. So
Yeah.
John Ferguson we were in the airport after we left, and they had some doctors and stuff who aren't, they weren't really hockey guys, right? Especially knowing John Ferguson. So this doctor's walking around with this stick, and it had all the autographs of all the Russian players. Ooh. So he goes, so he's going around showing the players, and players are kind of rolling their eyes, being polite. The players were being polite, rolling their eyes. And John Ferguson walks up. He goes, "What's that?" He goes, "This is a Russian stick. I got this from Mikhailov." And he says, "That's Tretiak's." And then he's, "Oh, and whose autograph is that?" And he goes, he's naming all the Russian autographs. John goes, that's can I see that stick? He gets it, and then he smashes it into a million pieces. It was like, you ever see Animal House? When John Belushi smashes the guitar?
Yeah. That was about it.
Okay, so Dad will wrap this up. Del, give me your final thoughts on the Four Nations face-off.
With such a small tournament, it's all about the goalies. I like how Team Canada's weakest point was the goalies, and yet the goalie won them the damn tournament.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite part about it, was the hockey gods just proving everybody wrong, and didn't really matter. It was goalie wins it. You can't beat them.
Yeah, when they said player of the game, Connor McDavid, Connor kind of looked around and went, thanks, but no, I don't think. So, Dad, your final thoughts. What are your final thoughts?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good tournament, and it wasn't too exciting at the start, but boy, it was that last game was sure exciting. It's funny how now fighting is in vogue. I just don't understand it. 10 years ago, if they had that fighting right at the start, it was black market on hockey, and maybe fighting is in vogue.